President Trump wants Netflix to fire one of the members on its board of directors after she issued a warning to corporations who, quote, bend the knee to Trump.
Former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Susan Rice, happens to sit on the board of directors for the streaming giant, and said this on an episode of former U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara's podcast. Take a listen.
It decided that it was, that they would act in their perceived very narrow self-interest and, take a knee to Trump. I think they're now starting to realize, wait a minute, this is not popular. Trump is not popular. There is likely to be a swing in the other direction, and they are going to be caught with more than their pants down. They're going to be held accountable.
Rice continued.
If these corporations think that the Democrats, when they come back in power, are going to, play by the old rules, and say, oh, never mind, we'll forgive you for all the people you fired, all the policies and principles you've violated, all, the laws you've skirted. I think they've got another thing coming because, just like when Trump thought, okay, I'll redistrict and the Democrats won't have the guts to play hardball, they're going to be surprised.
That interview sparked a lengthy post from Laura Loomer on X, who wrote in part, does Netflix stand by their board member threatening half of the country with weaponized government and political retribution for choosing who they wanted to vote for as president? This is as anti-American as it gets, and Netflix is proving every day they are an anti-American woke company. And it was Loomer's post that caught the eye of the president, who followed it up on Truth Social, writing, Netflix should fire racist, Trump-deranged Susan Rice immediately or pay the consequences. She's got no talent or skills, purely a political hack. Her power's gone. It'll never be back. How much is she being paid and for what?
Loomer also urged the president to block the potential merger of Netflix and Warner Brothers, continuing in the same post. The Netflix-Warner Brothers merger would result in a streaming monopoly, which the Obamas will have a significant stake in. President Trump must kill the Netflix-Warner Brothers merger now, and she even included FCC Chair Brendan Carr's handle, nudging him in the same direction. But Brian Krasenstein hit back against that idea, writing in his own post, Netflix is in a bidding war with Paramount for Warner Brothers. There are rumors that Trump may block the bid by Netflix. This is exactly how dictators act. How are Republicans okay with this? Now, it's important to note that the Obamas do not have an ownership stake in Netflix. However, they do have a multi-year production deal with the streaming giant. But also that, it's a lot of different people, like Melania, most recent example, had a multi-million-dollar unprecedented payout from Amazon. I think Laura Loomer needs to remember that she is not president and that what she says is not the law. I know President Trump listens to her a lot, but that's how the name of this game.
Well,
and
it's
also
not the FCC, it's the FTC, as I believe she said the
Brendan
Carr, but I think the Trade Commission is the one that deals with this, but I could be wrong on that.
Whoever she wants to add everybody. The point is that she wants to use people that are supposed to be impartial organizations that oversee mergers and make sure that everything goes smoothly, and you make them lean a certain political way. A lot of board members represent a lot of different personal thoughts in their lifetime. A lot of times board members come together to run a huge company. And what we know about Netflix is that they don't care about pressure from the outside. I mean, you can just see most recent Dave Chappelle special where they now gave him his third special in a row, but the whole trans community wanted to cancel Netflix. They do not care about
the whole trans community.
I mean, for real, there was
16 people.
Well, there was a huge call. Anybody who's allies, there was a lot of people. I mean, every mainstream outlet was saying, "Is Dave Chappelle okay?" Right, and he now has his third special on the streaming giant. So I think when President Trump goes on Truth Social and says pay the consequences as the president, again, that's threatening the use of power that you have amongst people who align or work alongside your administration to kind of bully people in a potential merger where his ally is more the Paramount side and they're bidding for the same thing. And so if he has any persuasion over anyone who makes these decisions, well, that's concerning because we wouldn't want our president deciding this based on favoritism. We want this being decided on what makes sense for the American public. That'll be the consumers paying more, most affected by any mergers.
Yeah, look, I don't think that Trump should be interfering in private business decisions at all. That's called job owning. I've complained about it in the past. I complained about it when Biden did it, when he put pressure on social media companies to make different content-related decisions. Trump's doing the same thing. It's very bad. This deal should go through or not based on what's best for the companies involved. If the Paramount deal is better, they should go with that deal. I don't think the federal government should have any say in it at all. I don't think the federal government should pressure companies to make decisions one way or the other, period, end of story. But that's not what Susan Rice is saying. She's saying that she's doing the same thing. She's saying Democrats are going to come in and hurt the companies for doing what Trump wants. Like, the company's not at fault. The companies are just, they have a duty to the shareholders, etc., to make money for the company. They're not, like, this is when I got annoyed when conservatives used to blame big tech for bowing to government pressure to suppress their speech. I'm like, well, blame the government, man. The company is just going to do what the authorities are making it do. Like, they're not, it's, if they don't stand up to the government, that's an economic decision they're making. Get mad at the government. So similarly, here, she's saying Netflix, I think her own company and all these other companies will, they will suffer the consequences of what, having been pushed around by the government. That's their fault. She's saying Democrats are going to come in and hurt them for going along with Trump. Why doesn't anyone just stand up and say the obvious thing, which is that the government, the companies have free speech rights. Business decisions should be left alone by the federal government. It's not their freaking job. And if Democrats come back into power, we will manifest that ethos of letting them do what they want. And then the companies would actually probably be more supportive of Democrats. But they can't say that because ideologically, she thinks, progressive liberal Democrats, they do think the federal government should ultimately order around the companies. They don't want to lose that power. They're just mad that Trump's doing it. It's just a disagreement over what the power is being used for. But they absolutely think the federal government should and it's appropriate for them to have the power to break up companies for disagreeing with them. And I think that's insane and wrong and bad, but Democrats are no better than Trump on it.
The president who ran against political retribution and said he was a victim of it, the president who ran against or for breaking up bureaucracy within government and using the government as a political tool, has been doing that for the entire first year of his presidency. Whether it's looking into, whether it's looking into Letitia James, James Comer, whatever he's trying to do, whether he's telling Brendan Carr to go do things that look unsightly to the American public, like, wait, is the president forcing this network to cancel this show? Like, it's been a lot of that, whether it's suing networks for personal gain. The president is all about retribution, and that's what we're seeing. And so I think what Susan Rice is trying to say is that, no, what she's trying to say is that anybody who just cowered to the president and is just moving in ways that they think is best to cozy up. No, it's best to cozy up. It's going to center back to where it makes sense. Like, we need to be following policy, right? So anybody who's not following policy, as we just saw with the Supreme Court decision, the president wasn't following the law. So it's against the law. It'll be corrected when Democrats come back if the Supreme Court failed to correct it. You're not just going to be out here doing whatever or whenever. So let's say the Supreme Court said, oh, these tariffs are fine. I'm sure that Democrats in the next office would say, let's correct this. These tariffs are illegal. Everything like that, that's people are just bending the knee, which is what she called it, to the president because they think it would be an admirable place for them to be so they don't have friction, like you said, all Republicans are doing by supporting these tariffs that they know they don't agree with.
Is because you went
she's
along
saying
with
we're
Trump,
going to fix it.
We're going to hurt you in the future.
No,
that's what
I don't know that she's saying. Oh, okay,
she said.
Strangle you, throw you up against a wall.
Borrowing a line from Donald Trump. I am your retribution. I am your retribution. That's what it sounded to me like she was saying.
No, and she's also saying you can't gerrymander out a whole state and then expect that Democrats don't do it either. That was the example that she brought up. That's an example.
Them for going along. So what's a boss of a media company to do if you're
when you're on a board, it doesn't make you a boss of the company. It means you're on the board. It means you have some conversation in the decision.
My controversial idea is just
running the day-to-day operations
all alone, and I think that would be better.
Okay, up next, NYC Mayor Zohran Mamdani is getting slammed for requiring ID for snow shoveling jobs. He also gave the kids a snow day today. We'll be right back after this.